When I design children's patterns, I always start with a classic. They are just perfect to add embellishments to. I'm Melissa Stramel from Lilac Lane Patterns, and I design children's clothing patterns. Do you ever have a skirt that's lovely but plain? Well, you could make it really stunning by adding ruffles, and today I'm going to show you just how to do that very simply and easily. To start with, you need to determine what width of ruffle you would like to add. For my project, I decided I wanted a 2.5 inch ruffle, and therefore you need to cut the fabric you're going to use twice as wide as that. So this fabric is cut 5 inches wide. The next thing is to determine the length, and most of the time with the ruffler foot, you gather it just about in half. So you need about twice as much fabric as what goes around the width of what you're adding the ruffle to. Now, if you have a very large project to add the ruffle to, like this one, you may need to hook several widths of fabric together to make your ruffle. So to start with, we have this 5 inch wide piece of fabric, and the first thing you're going to do is press it in half. So you have a finished edge here, and then a raw edge here. Let me tell you a little bit about a foot for your sewing machine that's called the ruffler foot. There's two different parts of the ruffler foot that you need to look at. The first is there are some numbers here at the top. There's a 1, a 6, and a 12. The 1 means that it makes one ruffle for every stitch. And you will probably use that one very rarely, mostly for sheer, very, very lightweight fabrics. The second one that says 6 means that it makes one ruffle every 6 stitches. That's probably the one you'll use the most often, and it's the setting we'll use today. And then the third setting that says 12 makes one ruffle every 12 stitches, and it's mostly used for upholstery weight fabrics or anything that's heavier weight. Now the other thing you can look at is there's a screw right here in the front, and it adjusts, and what it does is it changes the depth of your ruffle. And for me, I want a really deep ruffle, so I'm going to leave that all the way screwed out. Now let me just show you how easy it is to attach this to your machine. You see there's something that kind of looks like a hand here, and that attaches to the needle bar, so you don't need a screwdriver or anything. Just going to remove the foot that's on your machine, and then slide that little hand looking piece right over the needle bar. And then when you have it on, just lower your foot and it automatically attaches. So it's just that easy. So take the fabric that we pressed, raise your presser foot, and slide it right here in and just about 1 inch past your needle. Then go ahead and lower your presser foot. Now we're ready to start ruffling. So just go ahead with a slow speed, not too fast, and just evenly. And I just try to run the fabric right along the edge of this foot so we get a nice even ruffle. And I think you get the point here. So I have one that I've already made up, and the next thing you want to do is attach this to your skirt so that you can sew it on. And I just chose to attach 1 inch above the hem of the skirt, but you can attach it wherever you would like to embellish with a ruffle. And so just using your seam gauge, go ahead and pin it in place. Go right along. And I'll tell you one tip, something that I really like to do is attach the ruffle all the way around, but then leave yourself a little extra just in case anything might have gotten out of place as you pinned it on, so that you can fix that without starting over when you get all the way around to sewing the entire ruffle on. So I have one that I've already made up here for you, and we're ready to attach it now. I like to attach with a zigzag stitch, and I really like to use kind of a wide zigzag stitch, so we'll just go ahead and put it on a width of 5. And then for the length, I like to use fairly long too. So this is almost just like basting on, and I'll go ahead and put it on 3.5. And I'll show you how easy it is to take this ruffler foot off. So it's just that easy, and just go ahead back to your regular foot. And see, nothing to be intimidated by there at all. It's very simple to use. So we'll just go ahead and attach this ruffle with our zigzag stitch. We can go back up to fast speed for this. So basically we're just basting it on. And as you can see, that goes along very easily, and I think you get the point with that as well. So we now have this beautiful little skirt, except for the one last thing, and that is this raw edge, which is really not so attractive. So I prefer to just cover that edge with bias tape. Isn't bias tape wonderful? It comes in a rainbow of colors. It's inexpensive and it's ready to use right out of the package. I picked a red here to contrast with the flowers, and I just pin it on right over the seam and right off the card. So going back to a straight stitch. Now, of course, for you, you're going to want to match your thread to your bias tape, but I chose here to use white just so it will show up really well and you can see it. So all you have to do is top stitch right along the edge of your bias tape all the way around and remove your pins when you get to them. When you get all the way around to the end of the skirt, cut the bias tape, fold it under, and then top stitch right along the other edge. When you're finished, you'll have this beautiful project that you've embellished. It's one of a kind. Your little girl will love to wear it, or if it's on a skirt for yourself, you will love to wear it too. And if you practice with your ruffler foot a little bit, you're then ready to move on to a creation such as this that is just covered with ruffles, and it's a twirly dress that your little girl will love. And I know that my girls certainly love to wear them.